The movie starts by showing us the lives of three different married couples. The first couple are Antonio and Anna. They're preparing to attend dinner with their couple friends, and it seems like they're having some issues in their relationship. In the bathroom, Antonio is secretly texting someone, whereas Anna is looking at her phone before taking off her panties for no apparent reason. We then move to the second couple, Eduardo and Blanca. They've recently tied the knot and can't get enough of each other. They are seen acting all lovey-dovey. Lastly, in another house, there's therapist Eva and surgeon Alfonso. They look a little bit older than the first two couples, and they're preparing dinner because they are the ones who will be hosting dinner tonight. When it comes to their kid, they have different ideas about how to take care of their 17-year-old daughter Sofia, especially after Eva found condoms in her bag. Eva and Sofia's relationship is strained, while Alfonso thinks Sofia should be left to explore, but Eva disagrees. In the next scene, we learn that these three couples are close friends. They all decide to have a get-together and enjoy watching the lunar eclipse. And it's going to be a night filled with fun, love, and maybe a few surprises. Antonio and Anna arrive first at Eva and Alfonso's house, bringing a homemade meal. Then, Eduardo and Blanca join in. The couples gather together and share some wine, and Eduardo is drawn to Eva's pretty earrings. They then ask about their seventh friend, Pepe, and they are particularly curious about his new girlfriend, Lucilla, and are eager to meet her, thinking that Pepe is pretty lucky. However, when Pepe arrives at the party by himself, their excitement fades because they find out that his girlfriend, Lucilla, can't make it due to her fever. After a bit of chatting about Pepe's girlfriend, they all sit down for dinner. They talk about various things, including how they sometimes have trouble understanding each other. Also, they're discussing how a text message on a phone is causing trouble for someone they know. It's basically messing up the woman's life, and her family is falling apart because she found out her husband is cheating on her. They have different opinions. Some of the couples say it's the lady's fault for checking her husband's phone, while others think it's the man's fault for not being careful. They say he should have deleted the message instead. This argument makes Eva the therapist, and Eduardo say that mobile phones are like tiny black boxes filled with life's darkest secrets. They believe they're so risky they can even ruin marriages. Anna agrees with Eva and mentions that her husband Antonio never shows her his phone and even takes it to the bathroom. When Antonio hears this, he wants to prove that he has nothing to hide from his wife, so he puts his phone on the table. Everyone supports him and says they're all close friends with no secrets between them. Moments later, when things start to get boring, Blanca decides to add some fun to the situation. She suggests a game. They all have to put their phones on the dining room table, and while they eat, if they get any messages or calls, they have to share them with the group. At first, most of them are a bit unsure about the game, but in the spirit of showing they've got nothing to hide, they eventually agree and place their mobile phones on the table. Just as they're about to continue their dinner, a sudden strong wind blows through the house, knocking the vase to the floor and creating a commotion. Outside, the dogs begin to fight, and they notice the eclipse beginning to form, as well as an accident on the street below. Everyone suddenly goes mad all at once. They return to the dinner table, and shortly after, Eva and Alfonso's daughter, Sofia, shows up, says hi to everyone, and takes her dad aside. She asks Alfonso for some money and heads off to her friend's party. Right then, Eduardo gets a flirty text from an unknown number, which surprises his wife, Blanca, because it says, "I desire your body." This leads to a fight between the couple, and to make matters worse, Eduardo suddenly receives a phone call from the unknown number, and when he is forced to answer it, they are surprised that it turns out the message and call are actually from Alfonso, who was just trying to play a prank on Eduardo. With that sorted out, they continue the game. At first, everyone's in a good mood. They tease each other and have friendly arguments. But then, in the midst of everything, Eva gets a call from her dad, and she must put it on speaker. Without a doubt, the father drops a bombshell. He reveals that Eva's getting a breast enlargement, which is basically a cosmetic boob job. Everyone's jaws drop, and they can't believe it. And Blanca says that Eva, being a therapist herself, should accept her body as it is and promote self-acceptance in others too. Some of the couples ask Eva why she didn't go to her husband for the operation, bringing their personal issues to the dinner table. Alfonso then spills the beans that Eva's dad doesn't like him and thinks he's a terrible surgeon. He insists that Eva's dad wants only the best surgeon for his daughter. After a while, Antonio follows Pepe outside for a smoke, and they catch sight of a partial lunar eclipse. Antonio claims that this kind of eclipse was the sign of something terrible. The Mayans believe that it disrupts time and causes things that shouldn't happen, and they all suddenly vanished. But that's not really what he wants to say. Antonio confesses that he has a lady friend who will send him some explicit pictures every night at 10 o'clock. He's worried that Anna might find out, so he asks Pepe for help. Antonio even suggests swapping their phones since they're the same brand. Pepe isn't thrilled with the idea, as the photo will come to him instead, even though Antonio has assured Pepe that no one will care about this because Pepe is single. Despite Antonio's emotional plea, Pepe seems hesitant to help and goes inside. Later, everyone gathers around the dinner table again, and more texts, messages, and calls start coming in. Here, Anna accidentally spills wine on Alfonso, and while everyone's attention is drawn to Alfonso, Antonio sneakily swaps his phone with Pepe's. Everyone, not even Pepe himself, is aware of what is happening. Shortly after, Pepe's swapped phone receives a notification, and as expected, he gets that explicit photo from Antonio's friend on WhatsApp. Now that Pepe knows what Antonio did, he has no choice but to act like the picture is for him. They all have a good laugh and give Pepe a hard time about it, not realizing it's not even his phone. Up next, Pepe's original phone, which is now Antonio's, buzzes, and he gets a text from someone named Lucio, just asking how he's doing. This text makes Pepe extremely anxious and agitated, while Antonio informs them that this guy is from his workplace. When Antonio is told to reply to the text right away, Pepe suddenly starts going on about how these phones are invading their privacy and wrecking their lives. His sudden outburst shocks everyone. Finally, they all decide not to respond to Lucio's text. Then, Eva gets a message offering services and discounts from a retirement home for seniors. Antonio takes offense at this because his elderly mother lives with their family. He admits that his mom can be challenging at times, but he doesn't want to send her to a retirement home. To lighten the mood, the couples all decide to watch the blood moon eclipse from the balcony. They enjoy the beautiful view for a while and decide to take a group photo on Blanca's phone. Alfonso doesn't even have enough time to change his shirt, and strangely, after Blanca snaps their picture, everyone in the photo vanishes. Unfortunately, right when they're about to snap the second picture, Blanca gets some texts from her ex, which angers Eduardo and makes him feel jealous. But before things get too heated, Blanca manages to calm him down by saying that her ex is in another relationship and needs advice from her. In the end, Antonio suggests that Blanca give her ex Eva's phone number, joking that he needs a therapist instead of an ex-girlfriend. After that, Sofia calls her dad, Alfonso, and here she lets it slip that her dad was the one who gave her those protections earlier. She reveals that Alfonso has advised her to always make the right decision and be careful of the bad guys out there. After hearing how Alfonso handles his stubborn daughter with reverse psychology, even Eva starts to learn something when the daughter tells Alfonso that Eva never listens to her. Next, Antonio gets another text from Lucio on Pepe's phone. This time, he decides to reply since he's the one with the phone. He tells Lucio that he's at a party with his buddies. After he sends the text, things take a different turn when Lucio calls, and Antonio is forced to answer it. Lucio suddenly starts shouting, claiming they're in a relationship. Everyone is shocked, and they assume Antonio might be gay, not knowing the phone actually belongs to Pepe. Antonio tries to smooth things over by saying that he and Lucio always work together in their workplace. And that day after day, Lucio begins to have feelings for him, even though he tries to reject him. He stares at Pepe multiple times, but things get messy when he's explaining. Just then, Lucio sends another text message that sounds even more desperate than the previous one, saying, "I miss your kisses." His wife Ana and his friend Eduardo both get upset and disrespectful. Eduardo feels that way because Antonio and he were close friends in their teenage years, and they frequently slept and even showered together, without him knowing that Antonio is gay. Afterwards, Things are getting pretty tense in the room when Eduardo's phone rings. It's a guy on the line asking if Eduardo's girl liked the earrings he sent. Eduardo tries to dodge the conversation, but it's too late. Everyone has already heard it. This leaves Blanca in shock because she never wears earrings, and she doesn't even have her ears pierced. Hearing this, Alfonso immediately looks at Eva's earrings, which she wears despite the fact that he never gives her those. He realizes something not right going on behind him. Right in the midst of their heated argument, Eduardo's phone lights up again, displaying the name Lola. Blanca acts quickly, grabbing the phone, and here's where things take a dramatic turn. Lola reveals that she recently got pregnant with Eduardo's child. Learning this, Blanca completely loses it. She's shattered, and in a state of shock, she locks herself in the bathroom. All of a sudden, Eva takes Eduardo aside to another room, removes her earrings, and hands them back to Eduardo. It turns out that they have really been having a secret affair, and it was Eva whom Eduardo bought the earrings for. In the meantime, Antonio walks up to the living room to check Anna's phone, and Anna, upon realizing what he is doing, goes to speak to him right away. To her surprise, he tells her that some guy on her Facebook wants to know if she's taken her panties off. Anna insists that it's just a virtual friend, and that this Facebook friend is just some random person she barely knows and has never met. In a fit of rage, Antonio asks if she is wearing any panties right now, and he forces Anna to remove her skirt. Anna refuses to do so or tell him, resulting in a chase between the two around the house. In the end, she decides to do what Antonio wants, proving to all couples that she is wearing nothing but a skirt that evening. She then leaves, making fun of Antonio's homosexuality on her way out. It is at this point that Pepe finally comes clean, revealing that he's the one who is homosexual, not Antonio. Pepe goes on to tell everyone about Antonio forcing Pepe to switch phone with him. He then tells them that he'll never introduce Lucio, whom he had tricked everyone into believing was Lucilla, because he's worried their strange reactions and behavior might hurt him. Later on, Blanca gets out of the bathroom and says the game was great and it really set things straight, then tosses off her wedding ring and leaves. At this moment, Alfonso is still super mad about what Eduardo did to his wife. He slaps Eduardo in the face, after warning him not to return there or he'll kill him. He then tells Eva that he is going to bed, and both Antonio and Pepe leave for the night. Moments later, Eva, who feels guilty for letting this game be played in the house, steps outside to the balcony, where we can see the full blood moon eclipse. It is here that she finally decides to throw the source of their problems onto the road below. Suddenly, a gusty wind returns to batter her house. After the wind stops, she gets back up and notices that the moon has completely left its eclipse and is shining clearly in the sky. Confused, Eva gets back inside the house and shuts the door. But surprisingly enough, she witnesses her husband and all her friends appear again and are now enjoying their dinner, as if nothing had happened. Eva sits beside her husband and checks his shirt, only to discover that it is clean from the previously spilled wine. She has no idea what is going on right now, as it appears as if nothing had previously gone wrong, until Pepe suggests to play this phone game. Seeing this, Eva is worried that the tragedy before will happen again, and she tells all the couple that she dropped her phone on the street below. All of them think Eva is acting strangely because of her phone, so Pepe says that they will not play the game, stating that it is everyone or no one. They don't even know how grateful Eva is to be able to make it back in time after the incident that destroyed their friendships. And that's where the movie ends. Life, filled with its mysteries and secrets, continues as usual, but the truth remains hidden.